Hello, fellow neets. So, it's mid-January and it's still kind of cold outside. I kind of wish that I could maybe go outside a little bit more, but the air's just been so dry. Luckily for me, I have some moisturizer for my hands. My old granny-looking hands. It's just you need so much moisturizer. It's crazy. It just doesn't stop. Even if you just moisturize the whole day, it just keeps getting dry. I guess not really much you can do about it, to be honest. But anyway, I was thinking, like, going through my shelf of some of the stuff I have. So for me, I like to collect old games that I just get for very cheap off of Kijiji. If you don't know what Kijiji is, it's kind of like Craigslist, but Canadian. You just buy used stuff from people that they are selling. So I got these games a long time ago for like $5 each. And this is Dragon Quest VI and also Chrono Trigger. These are two very much classics from the SNES era of games. I haven't actually played them, but one thing about the art is that you can see the art style is almost the same. And that's because the art is actually made by the same artist. And that artist's name is Akira Toriyama. So Akira Toriyama is a really famous artist in Japan who is known for the series Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. So it might make sense why the characters kind of look like they came from Dragon Ball. I was just thinking, it's just like I do like the style, and for me, I did grow up watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z. Like so much Dragon Ball Z. You wouldn't believe. That was back when you could watch full episodes on YouTube, if any of you remember. That was back when I was like less than 10 years old actually. But you could just watch full episodes of cartoons and stuff just completely on YouTube. And that was like my introduction to Dragon Ball. And I watched pretty much the entire Dragon Ball, like original Dragon Ball series. And then Dragon Ball Z, I watched pretty far into it, I think up until the Majin Buu arc. So I was quite a big Dragon Ball fan when I was younger. It definitely left quite an impression, and something about the art style, I guess, of Akira Toriyama is that it's kind of got like this friendliness to it, even though some of the episodes are, say, like bloody. They have a lot of action, a lot of violence and stuff, but it's just the really, I guess, how should I describe? Like you can see there is just the mechanical things and stuff look very like fantasy or kind of like Ghibli-like. I don't know how to describe it, but it's not, even though some of the stuff may have dark concepts, the art style itself looks very friendly. And I guess the art style has influenced me for sure. So I thought maybe today I could try drawing some of the artwork from Akira Toriyama, or just drawing in the style of Akira Toriyama. Since he is such an influential artist and all, it's like I think might as well try it, and plus I don't know, it's just like, maybe it's my bias because I really like Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is just like super cool. So yeah, let's get started. First thing I need to do is I need to moisturize my hands. This is not sponsored, this is just the moisturizer I had. I think I got it from Shoppers Drug Mart. I think that is also a Canadian store, by the way. If you don't know it, it's just a drug mart, so nothing really special with it. So today's sketches here, I'm just going to be doing in my pocket note from Mujidushi, and I'll be using my favorite gel pen, the Pentel, or the Zebra Sarasa Grande. Zebra Sarasa Grand. And actually, when I was in Japan, I got a new refill for it that was in a finer size. So it is very fine. This one is a 0.3, I think. So the last one I had was a 0.5, so this one can get finer details. It's nice that they're both sizes are interchangeable with the same pen though. So, oh, this was just something from the other day. I just started drawing some comics because I was bored. So I'm gonna start with writing the date. And today is just gonna be more of an imagination sketch. And the day is 2024. Uh, 01. And it's the 18th. There we go. So I'm going to be trying to use some of these box artworks for some inspiration. I don't really have anything else on hand. I don't have an art book or anything for inspiration. I do have my memories from Dragon Ball Z, I guess, so. But I'm not gonna directly copy. I'm just gonna see if I can make sort of like my own sort of character, maybe. But the characters always have this kind of look where it's like they have eyes like this, if you know. They kind of got this like grin on them. And they're always like really short looking because their like limbs are kind of stubby-ish. Not sure why. But it is an interesting design choice that definitely did stick. Maybe not just directly sketching something, but I'm just seeing what kind of works right now. He looks kind of like Krillin or something from Dragon Ball. Well, they always have like this, this nose. That kind of nose that sort of just sticks out like this. And then they got these little flares, I guess. I don't know. And their head is always a certain shape. Kind of like this shape is like the Akira Toriyama shape head. And they always got kind of big ears. I guess that is my closest I can think of to like my recreation of what he's doing. With his stuff, I guess what was I gonna say? I like this pen a lot. That's what I was gonna say. I really like how this pen draws like such nice lines and the ink comes out so smooth. This is just a gel pen. This isn't actually a ink pen or anything. So how would he draw? I think the mouth is kind of like this. There we go. Yeah, that looks kind of right. Yeah, he looks angry. He looks like a G. He looks like he's gonna destructo disc some fools. That looks about right, I think. Yeah. I don't know what else I could give him. Maybe I can give him like a... What else could I give him? Maybe I can make him like have some armor. I know like if you kind of see here with some of the electronic stuff, I guess the mechanical looking stuff with Akira Toriyama's artwork, it's got this rounded look to it. So maybe if I draw the armor with sort of like kind of punk-like, but it's got very rounded features. Then it would kind of like resemble it. It's hard to replicate because I'm not Akira Toriyama himself. I don't know how he would draw these things. But I can do my best to try. Guess that's the important part, isn't it? And I got something here. And I know a lot of people do struggle with, like, say, drawing from imagination or something. I think it's definitely something that's not natural to most people, but it is something you just have to get used to. I guess it's like if you don't do it much, it's not going to come to you. But if you practice it like pretty regularly, it's going to be a lot easier to be creative when you need it. It's like a muscle that needs to be worked. Here, maybe I can think of some little motifs here that would work. That kind of works. And then he kind of got like a pot lid looking armor here. And then he's also just buff like as all hell, because that's usually a lot of Akira Toriyama characters where they're just huge. But creativity is definitely a muscle that needs to be worked. Like you need to regularly nurture it and make sure you keep doing creatively fulfilling things. Because if you don't, it definitely starts to fall by the wayside. Like it does not age well if you don't use it. I guess that's why I like to describe it almost like a muscle. So for me, I try to draw every day. If I'm not drawing, I do something else creative. I try to, at the very least, have some creative work going on. That's why I tried doing this comic over here on this other page, actually. Because this comic, it's pretty fun just to like imagine some stuff. So I kind of just have like a little crab thing that I have around that I got from Japan from a gacha, and I decided to make this like crab destroy the city, and there's like this news reporter here that's reporting in the scene, and this was all just done on the spot, and maybe this is an introduction to the main character, and he's sort of just watching the news. I don't know. That was just completely drawn on the spot. I didn't actually plan anything there. But it's stuff like that that can be kind of creatively fulfilling. Because I know for, I guess like YouTube or something, it's not, like I enjoy it, but it's not using all of my creative power, because I have a lot of creative power. And sometimes it just needs to be used in some way. So I want to try my hand at like story writing or something like that, because that just seems like it would help. Here we go. I know some people suggested me to write like a manga or something. The thing is that mangas are like a lot of work, but it's not, doesn't mean I'm gonna say no to like doing it. I've always thought of becoming a manga artist since I was like a kid. And for a lot of people, it's like getting into the manga industry is like an impossible task. And to be honest, it's like it's not easy, especially since it's so centralized in Japan. If you're not born in Japan, it's really difficult to get there. But it doesn't mean I can't draw comics, because I do enjoy comics. Regardless, even if I can't get into the manga industry, it doesn't matter in the end, because it's just, if I enjoy it, it's just something that I like to do, and it's something that's creatively fulfilling for me, which I'm trying to find those things, and I'm trying to get better with that. And I think anybody else too that wants to get better at art should just find useful things to make with their art. I guess even like, yeah, just like making your own manga. Like I used to make my own manga in school because that was always fun, especially if you show your friends or something. You can kind of make it on the spot, or you can write a script. Doesn't matter. It's good to try. Here we go. I got like some of these grates going on. Maybe it's something. It's very rounded in nature, I think, this character. I guess all the armor pieces are kind of rounded, because that's generally Akira Toriyama's style when he draws like mechanical bits. And I think a lot of people from around that era of like manga and anime, they tended to draw more cartoony, because that was just a different era for the industry. Here we go. And he has like some robot hands or something. I like to make robot sound when I draw robot hands. It immediately boosts my robot hand drawing power. Which this is kind of cool. Yeah, I guess this kind of style definitely stems from more like the 80s or 90s and like manga. It was definitely a different industry back then. And so a lot of the artworks look, I think, like a bit more cartoony. Like it's not trying to be too realistic. Like even if you look at the works, like things like Ghost in the Shell, right? Not everybody knows Ghost in the Shell, but Ghost in the Shell is a sci-fi manga that's about, I guess, I think people's consciousness are uploaded into, I guess, models, like a bot, like robots. Not completely certain, because I never actually read the manga. I watched the movie. The movie was a lot more philosophical than the actual, like, manga. But it's pretty much just like a sci-fi thing. It was very popular back then. And the art from it is like amazing. It's very complex it almost feels organic, even though it is like a, I guess like it isn't organic, but it sounds, or not sounds, looks organic, I mean. Now I'm just kind of getting into the flow here. I'm sort of in the flow state. I got the groove in me. But like with the ways you use wires and stuff and those kinds of artworks, it can feel organic, even if it's like electronic things. Like even right now, my shape language that I'm using, it's very round, even though I am drawing mechanical things. Because I'm using rounded shape language, it almost looks a bit more organic. And I guess, like for people who do want to get into the manga industry, it's like, even if you're not born in Japan, I'm pretty sure Japan's starting to open up their Shonen Jump to people worldwide, that you can upload manga to it. So it is getting easier for people that aren't in Japan. But also, you can just make manga anyways. There's nothing stopping you, right? You can just enjoy it if you really do enjoy it. Although it is a lot of work, to be fair. But I think regardless, it's like you can still enjoy creating. There's nothing stopping you. I think that's something everybody should understand, is that the only thing really stopping you from doing anything is just your own self. I guess I can draw this guy with his like this robot arm. And he has like this rounded sides here. Something like this. That looks kind of cool. But the only thing stopping you is just yourself. Like, you should really just focus on doing what pleases you, if it really does please you. I mean, of course, you need some discipline and to be consistent regardless. Because I know there is a lot of people who say it's like, oh, they want to do something, but they can't because they're just not consistent. But that's not something you're born, you aren't stuck like that. Nothing is permanent, I guess. Well, most things aren't permanent. So that's at least something you can work on. If it is an issue, you just work on it. You just, at least if you recognize it and you're honest with yourself about it, you can work it out into something actually, useful. Maybe he could have like a gun on his like left hand. That'd be kind of cool. He has a blaster like he's Mega Man. Mega Man blaster. Looks kind of interesting. And then for his other arm, he's just got this like Maybe I messed up a little bit about the placement of the arm, but that's okay. I just pretend like it didn't exist. Happy mistakes. There we go. I don't need to act like it was an issue. Then I can add maybe a little bit more detail around his neck or something. And then maybe I can draw him like having some like robot body. And then like just completely like robotic legs. I'm just kind of freestyling at this point. I don't like know whatever I'm doing. I'm just going whatever feels right. And I gotta make sure I keep the organic looking shape to it. I'm gonna give this guy like spider legs because it's just kind of silly. Because I felt like it, so that's just how it's gonna be then. If I say he should have spider legs, then he should have spider legs. It's nothing stopping me. Because I can't control myself. Like I said before, the only thing stopping you is yourself. But if you have no self-control, then there's nothing stopping you, right? That's sometimes how I function. There we go, this kind of works. I'm almost at the end of the page here, so maybe I'm just gonna add a couple more details. And that would be it for today. There we go. That's something. So, in the end of the day, this was the final artwork. He kind of looks silly, but he's my kind of silly, so it's okay. It's made by me, therefore it's okay. How can I not love my own creation anyway? He's definitely got the Akira Toriyama like inspired look, but it's not quite there. I'm still inserting my own style, of course. I'm not Akira Toriyama, so I can never be him. The best thing you can be is yourself, and well, I guess it's like for me, I'm inspired by a lot of people, but in the end, I still do my own thing. I do resemble some other people, but I am still my own artist. And it's like, you shouldn't try to be one-to-one another artist. You can take inspiration from them, but in the end, you're only gonna be as good as you can be. So I think artists should strive to be their own person, just like, I guess as a person in general. You should strive to be an individual yourself and not just be in someone else's shadow, or, you know, it's part of, I guess, of the becoming of art. It's not very straightforward to say, to be honest. It's a little bit weird to describe. it doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes. Like you can always be better, but you can never be perfect. You'll never be all encompassing, the biggest, like the most perfect being, because there is no perfect being. And I think that's the great thing about art, is that there can just be so many different kinds of artwork living in the same ecosphere. And that's what makes it really enjoyable to do, I think. Like you don't just have to be a realistic artist, because there'll be just as many abstract artists to counteract you. And I think that also just goes for culture, and I guess technology can be like that too. I mean, technology is a form of art, right? I don't know. I think so. Like, there's no completely correct way to go about a technology or a solution. There is multiple solutions. So you just kind of need to go down your own path to find your own solution to things. And that's the important part, and that's part of finding yourself as an artist. Like for me, for example, I know a lot of people have commented on this actually, and I take pride in this, but I wear a lot of really colorful clothes, like rainbow kind of colors, like tie-dye. It's sort of a style I just come to have, where I like very casual kind of streetwear clothes, but very bright colors. It's almost in contrast with each other. But that's kind of a thing that makes me sort of unique, and maybe I only really pay attention to that because I am an artist. And so it makes me, I guess, happy that I'm an individual of myself. Maybe I'm not just a hollow being that's just doomed to imitate other people. It's nice to feel like I can actually stand on my own. I can be my own person, the dumb, autistic, silly, neat person I am, like me, because I am me. Nobody can really be me as much as me. So it's just, whenever I go to stores or something, you sometimes see that thing that's just so you, like this. I love this. I got this in Japan. This was so me. I got the omamori attached to this. This is I guess a Japanese version of an amulet. It's got a prayer inside of it. It's very cool, I guess. It's got, it says omamori in front of it in Japanese, so amulet. In the back, it's got the name of the place I got it, so Nanzenji Dera was the name of the temple. And then I got this in a gift shop in Japan, actually. I was surprised to see how good quality this is. It was so cheap too, this thing. It was like really cheap, and it was like super cool looking, and the fabric feels really nice. So I was just like, I have to get this, because this is me. This feels like me. So any time I see something that just feels like me, not necessarily something that's, I guess, expensive, because I know other people like to buy things that other people really like, and I guess that's fine. It's not my personal thing, but for me, it's like, regardless of what it is, if it feels like it emulates me, then it's like, it makes me happy, and it doesn't matter the price of it. It could just be like a cheap off the shelf like $5 thing, and I'd still be like, oh, I want that, because that's kind of nice. Or it could be expensive, and I'd be like, oh, I also want that, but because it's so me. Yeah, I don't know. It's just what is me. I know a lot of people aren't sure what they are, and they feel sort of hollow inside because of that. And I think throughout your whole life, people just kind of generally try to find themselves, because the me that's within ourselves is constantly changing, and you're constantly trying to find it. It's like a chase almost. There's no true way to actually become truly you, but as long as you're getting closer, it's that's at least a good direction. I guess, again, you can't really be perfect in anything, but the best thing you can do is just be better. All right, bye.